Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Unsecurity Podcast. I'm your host, Oscar Meeks, and I'm joined today by the always wonderful Brad Nye and a whole gang of guests. so we, we invited our friends from Hackspace Con, Red Seer Security, Hack Red Con. You got to have a whole bunch going on, but we have Dan, Zach, Ken, and Kevin in the room with us. Hey, guys, welcome to the show. How you all doing today?
Good.
Awesome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, yeah. So we're super excited to have you guys. I kind of have recently got in touch with these folks, and really, I was just trying to figure out if anybody was going to replace DerbyCon. And I started looking and realized someone did replace DerbyCon, and I missed it last year. And it was like, oh shit, I want to talk to these guys and see what they're up to. And so I was able to talk to Dan, Zach, and Ken, and learn a little bit more about your motivations and why you guys are doing this, and even your other company, Red Seer. And we became pretty good friends in a short amount of time, and so thought it'd be great to have you guys on and just tell some folks about the con. So, maybe let's start with the location. You guys are at Kennedy Space Center for Hackspace Con, which is a super cool location. Like, how'd you guys land on that location? And tell us a little bit about that.
So, man, thanks for having us. We appreciate it a bunch. So when we threw Hack Red, we met just a bunch of different contacts, and one of those contacts was based down in the Kennedy Space Center, and they run an ISAL. And so the idea came up, hey, there could be a potential where we could do another con at the Kennedy Space Center. And so Zach and I are from South Florida, and so we were like, we're nerds. We're like, this could be epic, right? So we went down the rabbit hole, and it's an amazing facility. It's at the visitor center. So the cool thing is all the guests that come, all the attendees have access to go to all the attractions and all the other, the Atlantis and all the other cool things that are
nice.
That are there. So yeah, man, just super excited about it. It's going to be one hell of a time.
Hell yeah, man. That is awesome. Such a cool location. And, Brad, so you mentioned Brad grew up like in the DC area. The Space and Air Museum in DC has always been like one of my favorite attractions when I'm in DC. Just love going in there and wasting a day. And like, I think it's one of the Challengers that's in there right now. Is that right, Brad?
Yeah, I think one of them. And then, they got Atlantis down at the Space Center. That we went there last year, 2 years ago. I don't even remember. But it's a phenomenal place.
Yeah, I just remember walking under the Challenger, like in the DC Space and Air Museum, and it kind of blew my mind, Mm-hmm. And then they had the little sim cockpit too, where the kids get in and play, and I was like, I'm going to get in and play. And so I legit hopped in that cockpit and had a good time for a little while, man.
Yep.
But yeah, super cool. I'm excited to come down and see you guys in person here in a few weeks. But maybe tell us a little bit about like the background for the cons in general and how you guys got into the con space.
So. I'll give you the backdrop on this conference, and we can kind of talk a little bit about how we originally threw Hack Red and the backstory there. But our big push is this mission to where we can leverage our knowledge as a community, all of our connections, and try to help different groups, in particular at-risk groups. That could be low income. One of the big emphasis is neurodiversity. So our company is 90% neurodiverse, and we've partnered with some foundations that focus on helping those folks come into industry, which are really rock stars in our community. And so we have this mission where we're partnering with companies to bring in vouchers to pay for education certificates where they might not have the money to do that. And then what we do is we mentor and pair them with experts that are already certified. So with OffSec, we have 10 vouchers for the Pen 200, the OSCP, and a host of others. Black Hills was gracious with their anti-siphon vouchers and so many others. So essentially what we do is we pair them with experts already that are in the field. We help mentor them, build them up, and in some cases actually come on as apprentices on our real life contracts so they can learn how to, write the reports and, tell a client that their baby might be ugly, but there's certain ways to how to fix that. And the idea is at the end is that we can connect them with companies where they can get hired and just leverage, support them and help them grow through their career. So that's kind of the backdrop of how we got into it. We have this raffle I want to bring up. This raffle is epic. We have over 120 certification vouchers from a bunch of different partners in the industry. The first 100 tickets, which are pretty much done at this point, but they come with a free raffle admission. And then what we're going to do is for $20, we're going to sell raffle tickets. And whoever wins, obviously, those vouchers will go out to different people. And we have some other cool prizes as well. Ken, over Ken's shoulder, his wife Jamie, she's a big part of what we're doing. Yeah, Ken's gonna grab it. She hand painted our logo for the conference, and we framed it. That's going to be in the raffle. Hack 5 gave us a pineapple. Wi-Fi Pineapple Express. There's the actual canvas, the original. So that's the first one of one. And so all those things are in the raffle. And the big push with this raffle, guys, and everybody listening, is that we're trying to raise money. So all of the money, 100%, that's going to come into this raffle, we're going to use to buy more certificates, more vouchers, and try to help more people. We only have one ask with our program. It doesn't cost the students anything.
The raffle is $20 a ticket at the conference. There's 100 given away with the first 100 tickets sold, but at the conference we're selling raffle tickets additionally for $20 a piece.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're good. But I just wanted to point out something that's just so exciting with this, is that we only really have one big ask. And that big ask is that the students that come through our pipeline, that they mentor somebody else. And the idea is we're trying to disrupt the idea of education through this recursive form of just training the next generation, which all of us do already. So that's kind of the motivation behind it and where it all came from.
Yeah, man, I absolutely love that. Yeah. And that's one of the things when we first talked that really drew me, I want to work with these guys more. And I know we've talked about some other stuff down the line, and that aligns with our mission so well. We all know there's a gap, right? We need more InfoSec professionals. And I love what you guys are doing, and trying to find those at-risk individuals, really focusing on the neurodiverse individuals, because they need that support, they need that help. And sometimes it's not as accessible to them as it is for folks outside of that space. And so it's really commendable, man. And I really appreciate you guys. That mission is incredible. I love everything about it.
We appreciate that. You want us to get into how we started our original conference and the conference game? Yeah. So we originally we had finished. Kev, Dan, and I. We were on one of our first engagements for our company, our FRSecure, and we wrapped up our engagement. We did a physical. We broke into 15th, 16th, 17th floor of a high rise, and really did an awesome job. Did web app and mobile. We literally did the entire everything. We just wrapped up this engagement, and we were with about 8 of our friends at a restaurant called Bourbon and Bayou in Atlanta. One of my favorites. And after about, I had probably 7 or 8 old fashions. I'm the heavyweight. Dan had about 3, and and everyone else, 5, 6 in between each person, right? We're all just talking about how a great time it was, and how it was good to see everybody, because a lot of them were friends of ours that we were in town visiting. And they're like, man, we were just going through the normal thing we get together with your security pals is, man, I miss this conference. I loved going to DerbyCon. I had such a great time, partying, restaurants, music, having the going to the talks, just going to the awesome training. We were just like, it was such a great time. We really miss it. And we were just like, man, what can we do? And our friends were like, we should throw a conference. And Dan and I were just sitting there kind of quietly like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. We could throw a conference. And then they looked at each other and they were like, well, you guys are the extroverts. You guys should throw a conference. And we're sitting there, the extroverts are actually being quiet for once. We're like, we're like, yeah, we can throw a party, Our goal was to set out and replace DerbyCon. We reached out several times to try to partner and bring everybody in the community. We didn't want to ever say we replaced DerbyCon. We do our own conference, our own spin on it, with education being our focus and helping others and mentoring and just making those connections. It was our first time conference. With no support, no backers. It was kind of just cold calling people, getting sponsors. The sponsors we did have, we are so grateful for. We actually had a lot of help in that aspect. But Dan and I, essentially the 2 of us out of pocket paid for about a third of it, if not half, just pulling out of our savings. And we're like, we got to make this happen. With the whole idea is we want to give back to the community. We wanted it to be community driven, bring everyone out, new, old, bring everyone there together to help each other out and make those connections. And ultimately, I didn't want to put a number on it, but it was a lot. And but coming out of it with people coming up to us, several people, to myself and Dan, just saying, hey, I got my first interview because of this conference. I got my first job offer because of this conference. I just gave myself goosebumps again for the 100th time I've told that story, because it makes me feel so good. I would pay that amount every year if I had to bring that kind of impact to the community. It's just, my goal in life, I don't have kids. I don't plan to, have kids. My goal in life is to help others and mentor others, and that's my legacy, leaving behind. And Kevin was one of my first success stories of my mentorship, and now he's a co-owner of the company. You can ask Kevin. The one thing I asked for him was take me to dinner once.
It's been a lot more than once now, but yeah.
And after that, the way you can really repay me is every time someone says to you, hey, Kevin, how'd you get into business? Show them, teach them, help them, mentor them. And and that's why I love Kevin so much, because he's literally taking that to heart. And I mentor hundreds of people. He mentors hundreds of people. And that's where it's at. That's why we're so proud to be here. And just like,
now that they bring that up, naturally that mentor recursion, right? To continue the education, naturally that it came from Zach and Dan, it just blossomed into a con. And I think the con is just a vehicle that's pushing that, really. So it's really good.
The conference has turned into a way for, I can only touch 10, 100 people a year, in cybersecurity. You're not wrong. But I can, but us doing a conference and mentoring and making those connections and maybe giving someone else a mentor that they met at the conference because of us, we were going to potentially reach hundreds of thousands of people rather than just 10, 20, 30 a year, whatever we can do. So it's really a way of us just doing that. And we've actually met Ken at our conference. He was our head of security. He had done security with DerbyCon, and we were like, we need some experience to do this because we have no idea what we're doing security-wise. So he was basically the one-man security team walking around. After the conference, we just really hit it off where he was, had all the same beliefs as us. He was big into mentoring. He came from a rough background like Dan and I ourselves. And if it wasn't for someone helping him out and teaching him and making those connections for him, he wouldn't be working in the career field. So with all of our stuff aligned like that, we merged companies after the conference and brought him on, and now he's a huge part of this conference. He's like our one-man marketing, him and his wife, our one-man and woman couple marketing team, just really putting the word out there and helping us become a great success.
Heck yeah, man. I love everything you're saying about this too. And so when you guys first stepped in and did Hack RedCon in Louisville last year, and it sounds like, first time diving in head first, and that's always kind of scary, but you just kind of bit the bullet and you said, we're going to go for it. We're going to make this happen because we see the impact it's going to bring to our community. That's very commendable. What's the one gotcha when you got in there? You were like, there had to be a moment where you're like, oh shit, have we bit off more than I can chew at this point? There has to be something, right?
All of it. There was a bunch of great moments. We were at DEF CON. We went out to DEF CON and met a lot of folks. And there was someone that organized, he was running one of the villages, and he organized a series of cons over his career. And he was like, why didn't you guys start with a one-day con?
Not a we took
yeah.
a 40, not a 1 day.
The big thing was that we wanted to drive, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, and Ken can dive into the details. We have this free workshop day. The free workshop day, you do not have to be, you don't have to buy a ticket. You don't have to contribute any money. You come for free, and those experts that are, Ed Scotus is doing a social engineering, storytelling talk, and there's just so many others. The idea is that it's just a pure give back, right? There's no profit towards it. So we essentially said, well, we need these extra days because we wanted to offer that free training. I think that was a big moment where someone that had been incredibly successful, came to us and was like, you guys really went all in. Probably too.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been doing this for years, and I only have a 2-day conference still.
It was probably 3 weeks before the conference, just not sleeping. 18 hour. I'm a lifetime entrepreneur, but this was probably the biggest undertaking, primarily because our backgrounds are in security, finance. Event planning is a massive undertaking.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many great people involved to organize these events that go unspoken. Nobody speaks about them, but it takes an army of people. So I think that was when I looked at my board, and I could show you guys, I have a bunch of whiteboards around, like a mad scientist. There was literally hundreds of tasks, and it was me, Zach, and a couple of family members that were helping out. So that was one of those.
I can't believe you guys pulled off a 4-dayer the first time either. And we do a 1-day event every year. It's called Hacks and Hops. And I see our team, and we got 3 folks that really run that thing, how much time it takes to pull that off and how much has to go into that planning and the marketing and getting people there, making sure you got good content, trying to find a way to capture that content so we can share that again and again. And yeah, man, 4 days, the first time you did it, I can't believe you did it, man. But congratulations. You guys pulled it off. Yeah.
It was all worth it.
I want to say, so we have these 2 agents overseas. They're in the Philippines. Cecilia, many people that will listen to this, if they've kind of worked with us, Cecilia and now Kim, these are 2 superstars. These young women are wrecking it. They're helping us organize so many things. Honestly, they make us look good behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so there was a moment where, we were trying to, this is with Hack Red, we were trying to put out marketing. We created them, and this is a total accident, but when we put out that advertising where we had Tim Tones doing a training, a paid training.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to create a graphic for him. And our artist grabbed Tim Medine's face. And we're all just, honestly, all of our times are just a blur. I mean, we're working like 14 to 16 hours. So we have a QR circle, right? We throw it in the Slack, QA, and we throw our QA in, and we're like, oh, yeah, that looks good. Nobody recognizes it's Tim Medine.
You read the tag. I know. I've taken all of Tim Tone's courses. I love the guy. I know what he looks like. I read the QA. And I'm like, text is right. Looks good. You know.
So that goes out, and honestly, there was so many retweets and people just shit posting and just the trolls came out. But that was the greatest blessing for us, honestly. And
I got the word out better than we did.
That's a beautiful mistake, man. A beautiful mistake.
We want to make a shirt that says "Hello, my name is," and then Tim Tones and Tim Medine on it. Have them wear it for each other.
But yeah, no, you know what? It was just this magical process where we realized along the way we met hundreds of people like yourself and Ken. We all have the same mission. Like, we all store tremendous amounts of content. We're all researchers in our own respective area, and we love to share that. We mentor, and we teach that to our teams because we need to develop teams, right? There's such a lack of just talent. But when we all came together with this conference, we realized there's hundreds, if not thousands of us. And when you bring all those people together collectively, the exponential impact you can make through like these recursive ideas of education. And it's just, I mean, I'll give you an example. We have these 120 vouchers right now, and I was doing some math. I'm saying, okay, if you took 100 vouchers and the average salary, which typically is more, but let's say the average salary over the lifetime of that student is $100,000. You do 100,000 times 100 vouchers times 20 years, guys, that's $200 million in social media. And that,
that's for one conference.
That's one conference. So imagine if we could all continue to come together and support each other. Just true impact, and not just talk about it, but do it. So I think those were the things, man, that were just, for us, coming off of Hack Red, we're like, we have to do this at the Kennedy Space.
And people are going to see your honesty and see why you guys are in it for the mission. And I mean, I can tell from the first conversation we had, like, these guys are no joke. They're in it for the right reasons. And that's why I wanted to be part. And that's why we're sponsoring your event, and that's why we're having this conversation today. And it's just like, when people really see that and they really feel that, it's going to happen organically, and this will grow into something that's bigger than it already is, and it's going to be something amazing. And it's like our CISSP mentorship program, and Brad's been a big part of championing that. First year we did that, there was like maybe 10 or 15 people, and we're kicking that off in a couple weeks right now, and we were just looking, there's like 13,000 people that have registered for it this year.
Wow.
And it's amazing. And it's really just because we're doing it for free. It's the same mission as you. We want to educate people. We want to prep you so you can be job ready when you come out of this. We've set up another cert, the CVCSO, and it's super low cost. We want to get that to a point eventually where if you don't have the money, here's the deal, and Evan probably won't be mad I'm saying this, but if anybody wants to take that course that's low cost and you don't have the money, you send Evan an email and you're going to take that course, because we're not going to make money a barrier for anyone who wants to get into this field, and we really want to provide those resources. And go ahead, Brad.
With Zach, I think what you were saying with when people come up to you afterwards, what I found, I think when I started, this will be my 6th year teaching the mentor program, and the first year I think there was 20, then it went to 30, then 50, and now we're at over 13,000. And the first couple of years everybody was like, okay, so what's the catch? All right, are you going to mark? No, literally, here you go. We're going to give you everything. You're going to have to still do the work, but we're going to give you everything we can to help. And it's very rewarding. People ask, why do you sacrifice that much time? It's exactly that.
It feels good every single time. Every single time.
So I can't.
And you're right, Brad.
A couple of years.
People are always skeptical, man. Like, we have a lot of free resources on our website and stuff like that, and we don't even paywall this stuff. We don't put it behind an email. You have to give us your email. We don't care. We just want you to have the information. And it's always like, but what's the catch? There's got to be a catch. Like, no, there's no catch, man. There are good people. There are good companies that really believe in this mission of furthering education and providing you with the skills that you need to be successful. And it's really fantastic to see like-minded individuals like you guys. I think another thing I'd like to talk about, since we don't have a ton of time left, is how do people find out more information on the con? What's the website? Where do they
register?
What's the ticket cost? All that good stuff.
Training stuff too. Ken, you wanna run with this, and so we can kind of get into some of the trainers and speakers as well.
Yeah. Okay. So the website is www.hackspacecon.com. Shocking URL there. So you can go there and see, more information about the conference, a little bit of information about the awesome raffle we have, all of our awesome sponsors and people that have bought into this mission, either financially or by awarding their certs, from like Rasta Mouse, all these people, just Hack 5. We have an enterprise Wi-Fi pineapple in this raffle, which is pretty cool. So we have all that stuff. And if you go there, there's an easy Eventbrite link. Register now. It'll take you straight to the Eventbrite page. When you get there, you can register for some of our 2-day professional training, which I kind of worked really hard to curate some really killer content and trainers to come out to this event. So I urge you guys watching to take advantage of that. We have Mr. Unicoder coming and training for the first time in the United States, who's awesome if you're into any sort of red teaming. We have BC Security doing their advanced threat emulation, which is cool. We have Royce Davis doing a network penetration testing kind of walkthrough lab thing. We have Q's doing a systems admin and network admin like pen testing course, so that you can understand how your pen test works from people that don't do that normally, which is a really beneficial thing. We have Altered Securities are giving two trainings. Nikhil Mittal is coming from India to teach his amazing Azure AD attacks. So that's a very niche thing. That's a definite skill set, and it goes along with our theme and lots of cloud-focused pen testing talks at the conference. We have effective password cracking from BCS Group coming from South Africa. Those guys are Team Hashcat. Like, if you want to learn how to make effective word lists and actually crack some hashes, that would be the one to go. And then we have one virtual talk, 2-day training, also from Altered Security, and that is their advanced AD attack and defend course, which is the prep for their certified red team expert certification. And that one is offered virtually. So that's our only virtual option. All of these trainers wanted to actually come and see the Space Center too. So they were able to, they all wanted to come and do this for us. And because they were so bought into the mission, and they saw, like you said, the genuine belief and being about it, not just talking about it, they wanted to contribute in ways that any way they could. They have these amazing training courses fleshed out that's offered, for 3 times the amount at a really small conference in Las Vegas that you might have heard of. We won't name what that one might be, but these prices are significantly lower, basically break-even cost for them to pay for their transportation to support this whole mission. We have Black Lantern Security is even doing an attack surface management, which is a very important thing nowadays, using their Bbot tool, which is an awesome OSINT tool. They're offering that one as a pay what you can. So if you have a conference ticket, which is a regular conference day ticket, which is only $200, then you can pay whatever you want on top of that and attend their 2-day training, which is just phenomenal. The prices range on the paid professional from $1,500 all the way down to that. So there's a lot of room there. On to, our free workshops that Dan talked on. Those are 1-hour workshops. Those are going to be held on the second day, which is the 14th. We have everybody from, that's free for anybody. As Dan said, you don't even need a conference ticket. You just need to register on the site. So we have head count and can split the people up accordingly. But we have everybody from like Georgia Weideman to Ed Scotus to the cyber mentor Heath Adams is coming, Bo Bullock. The list goes on and on. I know. Yeah. I can't name them all. It's ridiculous. The lineup is just, if you ask me a conference, make a conference, you're going to heaven, who's going to be there? This is it. With speaker page, I can talk about this for days and days and days. You're never going to find, I can honestly say it's the best conference lineup I've seen in a very
stacked.
long time.
Yeah.
And that's
incredible. I'm looking at your free training workshops, and oh my God, that is incredible, man. You guys have a stacked lineup, and nobody's got to pay a dime. So like, again, I love that. There's no barrier of entry. If you can't afford it, no big deal. Come do this for a day. Just register online. So
And
any of our listeners who are in this area, like, go register. Even if you got no cash in the bank account, do it today.
Absolutely. Seriously, tickets are going to go. And we're also trying to, if you are a student and have a EDU address, there's a link all the way at the bottom of of the main page where you can reach out to us, and we offer half price tickets to the students. And we're really proud of this. We've coordinated with a lot of the local schools in the area to try and negotiate a field trip where they're going to come out on Friday to the workshop day. So the K through 12 folks with, see the Space Center and see some awesome industry training and maybe change the trajectory of the rest of their life, So that's my spiel. And
heck yeah.
Yeah. It's just mind blowing what you have.
Yeah, you guys have done an amazing job, man. Really, kudos and thank you too. I mean, a huge thank you. We need more people like you guys in the industry right now.
Hey, Oscar, I want to throw in a couple things. So it's a total of 5 CTFs. We have a super epic one that we've partnered with Red Seer, Dark Wolf, and we have some other folks as well helping us behind the scenes. What we're doing is we have a physical covert CTF. So we're gonna have the semifinal is going to be at the con. You sign up at the Lockpick Village. You compete for the semifinal, and then the 3 finalists, whoever the quickest are in that competition, we're going to have the final, which is going to be epic. So we have an after party at the Radisson where we're all staying, and this is on the 15th. So this is after the conference. The after party is going to be set up something like this. We're going to have Hacker Jeopardy. So we got Hacker Jeopardy. In between Hacker Jeopardy, we're going to have an hour final. So basically, we're building a makeshift room. And there's going to be flags to get through the room, to get through all the different flags, etc. And then what we're going to do is we're going to film it live. So we're super excited about it because last time we did this, we had at the end of our Hacker Jeopardy, we had a final lock picking. It was just ecstatic energy, honestly.
Oh yeah.
And then we got Slide Shenanigans. We're going to have a buffet. We had a bar. And it's just going to be good vibes, man. Relationships will go forever at that after party. So yeah, and then apart from that, 4 other CTFs. Nikhil's Azure is already online, so people can sign up for that now. That's pre-con. We have a couple of talent CTFs, so people that are looking to maybe make a move, or students coming out of college. Like Ken said, we have a bunch of students that are coming through. So it should be pretty good, pretty competitive.
Heck yeah, man! And so, can folks, if we have listeners who want to take part in the CTFs remotely, can they register and do those CTFs from wherever?
That's a good question. So the CTF, the Azure, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if it's forever. Ken, can you speak to that? Is that?
I know that the proper pronunciation is Azure. I'm going to just
get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here. Right?
I'm going to go with some GIFs and GIFs, right? Anyways, the Azure CTF is live now, and that's leading up to the conference. It's going to be live throughout the conference. But if you access it, there's some discounted training. There's some free tickets you can win for solving it. So check that one out right away.
Cool.
And in addition to all that cool village stuff, I want to touch on something that's important to me. We were able to get the mental health hackers on board with us.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
So we're going to have a mental health hacking space. And then we're also, I'm 7 years, in 6.5 years clean and sober. So I'm pretty proud of that. And we know there's a lot of alcohol at our conferences and a lot of crazy fun things. And for those that choose to not partake in that, we're offering a 12-step kind of meeting throughout that, which is going to be kind of unique. And so there's options for everybody and child friendly. So
yeah, man, it's like, you guys are so inclusive. And it's like, I can't believe this is your second con, because the things you guys have pulled together, the speakers you've pulled together, and all these other things that you've thought about. It's just amazing, man. I can't commend you enough for all the hard work that you guys have done. So before we go, I do have another question I have to ask you, and then we'll kind of wrap things up here. I noticed your logos, and I guess this is for you, Ken. Your wife creates those, and awesome, man. I love the artwork that she's done. Amazing job. But you all got the third eye, man. What's with the third eye? And I love it. I'm just asking.
Well, so our original company name came from a CTF team that Kevin and I kind of started a few years back. It was called Red Seer. Then it became Red Seer Security. And I actually had an artist in Orlando, a buddy of mine, Steve Nedley, who is former tattoo artist. Now he's a programmer, but he also does a lot of, in his free time, he likes to doodle and draw. And when we were doing the CTF team, like, we need a logo. So I hit him up one day, and he drew up the original, the old seer, this guy.
Oh,
and
nice.
That became the company logo eventually.
Yeah.
The CTF logo, then became the company logo. And then when we threw Hack RedCon, we created more seers to kind of like represent. We have the red seer, who's like, he's actual like a red seer,
offensive,
like offensive. And then we have a purple seer. He has a red and blue eye with a big purple eye in the middle. And then we have a blue seer at the bottom. And they're all doing a different type of karate type. So they're all like the students for the old wise red seer monk looking man.
Yeah, nice. I love it, man.
Story. And now our artist has kind of gone MIA. I hope he's okay. But so now Ken's wife's been doing a lot of the graphics for us instead, in his stead.
Yeah. No, it's very cool.
She's got some more seers coming out, some additional avatars. And,
Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's not an Illuminati thing. That's not the secret.
Well, heck yeah.
Like seers, like, we see the future. We see the future of security. We see vulnerability. Yeah. That's kind of the play on that. Nice.
Yeah, I really like that, man. All right, well, heck yeah. We usually like to wrap up with just letting everybody have an opportunity to give a shout out or kudos to somebody. I'm going to start. I'm going to give you guys a shout out for coming on here and just doing all this hard work. And that's the easy T-ball. I've said it before, but like I'm so happy to find other like-minded individuals in our community that are driven by a mission that means something, and it's really making an impact on the world. So kudos to you guys. And I hope all of our listeners can find a way to support this con. And if you're in the area, especially come out. If you're not in the area, tell a friend who is in the area. And even if you're going to be remote, it sounds like there are some ways that you could, take part in some mechanism even from your home. And so hopefully everybody will hear this and share it with their friends. So yeah, I don't know, Dan, Zach, you guys got any kudos?
I do, man. I want to say to my grandfather, man. My grandfather, he passed away this last year, and he was 90. He was a decorated war veteran, man, and he just raised me with two really important kind of philosophies. One, serve your community and serve the free world, and two, be kind to people. And those messages have instilled in me and what I've tried to spread around the world. So it's my kudos to my grandfather, man.
Heck yeah. I love that, man. And sorry for your loss, but it sounds like he imprinted you in a way that no one else could have, and you're still living that today. So
I got his dog dog tags hanging up right next to the flag. So yeah man, for sure. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Behind your head. I thank everyone that helps make this a success. It's a lot of work. We don't have a big company that's driving us, like, supporting the whole thing. It's it's a lot of us on the floor doing the grunt work, and if it wasn't for the people in the community who reached out and helped us, people like we met across the way, Ken. If it wasn't for Ken, like there's no way we would have been able to continue it on. It wasn't sustainable with just the two of us. So everyone that's helped out, lent a hand, volunteered, give us advice. We appreciate all of you.
Priceless.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
This conference is for the community, but it's also driven 100% by the community. We would not have the backing or the momentum that we have from Hack RedCon until today without all the goodwill, the good people. It's all the good people.
Heck yeah. Yeah, and it's amazing how many good people you find through this experience as well. And honestly,
Absolutely.
like, these things make me feel so much better about humanity. We can live in isolation. You see the poison in the media and the world. When you really get out there and try to impact like this, you find we come out of the woodworks, and there's a lot of good people out there in the world. Yeah, how about you, Ken? Who you got, man?
Well, my beautiful better half, she supports me. I give her mad shout outs all the time. Thanks for recognizing her hard artwork. She's very talented, pretty lady, who'll be at the conference. And,
awesome.
And also kind of like Dan's saying, my dad passed away 2 years ago, and he would have loved to see this because he actually worked when he was at GE on designing the original Mercury rocket, right? So, and his it just so coincidentally happened that his 80th birthday would have been the first day of our conference.
Oh, wow.
So that I know he's going to be there up in the cosmos somewhere too. So
Heck yeah, he'll be there in spirit for sure, man. All right, how about you, Kevin?
Well, actually, that was kind of what I was thinking when Dan led up to the community there. I really wanted to speak on them, but at the end of the day, the amount of people that I met at our first conference that I would have never met, that genuinely good people, they just happen to be in security, but genuinely good people with goodwill and actual good effort. There's a lot of things to just say, just words and talking, and you're kind of a salesman in one way, but we've had a lot of real effort and real backing and people calling me every other day and actually helping me throw this conference together with the guys. That is priceless. So like, as Zach and Dan were saying, whatever money we throw in, whatever sweat equity we throw in, whatever effort we throw in, it's going to, it feels good every time we help a student. We're just going to keep rolling that forward. So the goodwill of the community, like it's, like I said, it's literally for the community because it's by the community.
Heck yeah. Love that.
Shout out to TJ Knoll for the original OCP certifications that we got the vouchers for the last conference. And then Joe B and Dead Pixel Sec, they're the ones that made an introduction to him that got us in that. It's every phone call we made, we did a call with every speaker, volunteer, student, trainer. We met with every single call for paper. We met with every single person on a one-on-one phone call. Everyone's like, we've never done this for a conference. Usually just do a call paper, get an email. Every single person we talked to led us to someone else and gave us another introduction.
Nice.
They gave us more. They gave us another. It was just like,
or just an idea.
Another idea. We learned something from every single person, including the volunteers, all the way up to that are students, all the way up to the Ed Scotuses of the world. That just, every single talk was just invaluable to us. Like, we can't believe that everyone doesn't talk to everybody, because that was a huge key to our success. That's why we had all the things and had thought through all the processes, like you said, that you can't believe that we have all these things aligned for our conference. But it's those little meetings, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, we learn something from every single person and try to implement it as best we could, because it's for the community. It
takes a village, man. It really does take a village. And when the village realizes you're pure, the village shows up. It's beautiful.
And this conference is our baby.
Yeah. All right, Brad, what do you got, man?
Yeah, since I'll be out next week, not doing the podcast, I'm going to shout out to everybody who's helping out with the mentor program. On the back end, we've got 3 outside teachers this year, I think. Maybe 4. I can't even keep track. All the people on our team that moderate the discussions and volunteer their time. It's just amazing. So shout out to all of them.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Unsecurity Podcast. Thanks to all our guests from HackSpaceCon. Look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks. I know you're going to break a leg. I know it's going to be awesome, and we'll have a good time in Florida. See you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. See ya.